As the first century of the Targaryen dynasty came to a close.
Make it as sultry as you like, but narration is still narration, and this introduction has a lot of it.
King Heirs reigned over nearly 60 years of peace and prosperity.
But was it really peace and prosperity? Or was it voluntary subservience accompanied by a chorus of, "Please, sir, don't burn us to a crisp with your massive flappy fire lizards"?
Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the king's eldest descendant, and her younger cousin, Prince Viserys Targaryen, the king's eldest male descendant.
Only 2 character names and positions have been mentioned, and I already feel like I need a textbook to understand any of this.
The only thing that could tear down the House of the Dragon.
Roll dragmercials. Sashay, oh wait a minute, that might be for another show.
Was itself.
Bum, 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 bum. Look, you all were doing it. Tell me you didn't and I'll call you all liars. And yes, I'm sending a show for not using the awesome theme from a completely different show that played over 2 minutes of credits that I could also send. Also, I actually like this as a subtle way to orient the audience as to when this is all happening. But it also means that the show's taken less than 2.5 minutes to throw out a hefty name check from the main series, and that's always going to get us in. A saddle makes all kinds of sense, especially on a creature that flies at any height you wouldn't want to fall from. But seeing them here just reminds me that Daenerys never thought to do this and suffered no ill effects. And no, I will not promise to stop using this show as a way to resend the dumbest things in Game of Thrones.
You know I don't like you to go flying while I'm in this condition.
You don't like me to go flying while you're in any condition.
Kids.
They had massed on Bloodstone.
Lord Corlys brings out this tiny map that no one else can possibly see, and even if they could, wouldn't give them any information other than basic geography they should already be aware of. I'd even love to say this was just for the audience's benefit, but it's barely unfurled before the shot changes, and is never to be seen again.
They call him the Crab Feeder, due to his inventive methods of punishing his enemies.
What an oddly specific and inconvenient way to punish your enemies. The cleaning and restocking of the tank alone would waste precious man-hours that could be spent on orgy preparation instead. Or flaying.
We have no way of predicting the sex of the child.
Mr. Maester here has just talked about using f***ing moon charts to predict the day the child will be born, but hasn't got an equally bullshit-based system for predicting the sex. And the odds of predicting that are basically 50-50. I mean, there's tons of scammers that would kill for a 50-50 shot at the facts. Like psychics, astrologers, or Fox News.
There's a boy in the Queen's belly. I know it.
You do not, and you should not. And you're an idiot. Daemon would be king of the Andals at TVSins.
I brought you something.
Also, characters speaking another language to each other randomly start speaking English. I guess Doctor Who's Universal Translator finally got sent down from the Death Star. Dragons are cool and all, but I'm more interested in the Targaryen jewelry technology that allows you to remove a necklace one-handed instead of needing 12 fingers, 4 broken fingernails, and eventually a pair of bolt cutters. Also, congratulations to House of the Dragon for setting a new record for waiting longer than 10 minutes before doing something that feels mildly incesty in a Game of Thrones property.
I'm never just about cake.
Nor should you, Rhaenyra. Here are 5 sins for Alicent, assuming you would jest about cake. F***ing Alicent.
Is it healing?
It has grown slightly, Your Grace.
David Cronenberg's House of the Dragon.
It's a small cut from sitting the throne.
I swear if King Viserys Targaryen, first of his name, King of the Andals, blah, 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 gets taken out by tetanus, I will laugh my ass off. Because of all the threats in Westeros, this feels like the most easily avoidable. Just get a new chair that's a little less stabby.
You do understand that nothing will cause the babe to grow a if it does not already possess one.
This franchise's infatuation with the word lives on in its first spin-off.
This is the last time, Viserys.
I just wanted to tell you so that when the pregnancy goes sideways, you'll have a good reason to pick the baby instead of me. Stealing your hype self routine from Mark Hanna.
Beginning tonight, King's Landing will learn to fear the color gold.
King's Landing goes on learning to fear the color gold for all the some time, requiring your council to start each meeting by placing their balls on the table.
You know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him?
Yes, it's clearly Dr. Kurt Cocking's fault that Daemon decided to go to the recent dead wife blow. Nepotism much, King Viserys?
King's Landing has been in decline since my grandmother passed.
That's a correlation versus causation fallacy, my good man. Just because Gotham has seen a rise in crime since Batman arrived, it doesn't mean we should blame Batman. And now I want to see a Batman series set in the Game of Thrones world. Well, assuming Discovery doesn't need another tax break and it suddenly disappears after it's complete. I don't look like this naked.
Queen Emma has begun her labors.
I don't care how well you project your voice, at least 25% of this crowd hasn't got a fucking clue what they're applauding.
I heard that Lady Eleanor is hiding a swollen belly beneath her dress.
Gossip. Or kids. Gossip kids? XOXO.
What do you know about this Sir Kristen Cole, Sir Harry?
I'm told Sir Kristen is common-born son of Lord Dondarrion's steward.
Why is this conversation? Am I supposed to be getting hard because of another name check? Let me check. Nope. This show gives us 3 different shots of this distinctly yonic-shaped arena from above as it intercuts the brutality of the games with the brutality of childbirth. It's a clearly intentional and powerful juxtaposition of the implicit and explicit violence of using women's reproductive roles as a battleground. And it's exactly this kind of shit that makes it impossible for me not to take a sin off of this show for working on a whole different level. Prince Daemon is riding on a black horse, which was the equivalent of biting an apple back in the 100s. In other words, he's Daemon Targaryen, first of his name, Prince of the Assholes. I can understand not wanting to cover Daemon's subjectively beautiful features, but wouldn't their chances of retaining that beauty be greatly increased if he chose a helmet that actually protected them? Scene does not contain a, "You did this to me, you bastard. Just wait until I force a coconut out of your penis and see how you like it."
During a difficult birth, it sometimes becomes necessary for the father to make an impossible choice.
Super hard choice, but I respect him for choosing the love of his life. At least it looks like he made that decision. I mean, wait, what is happening? Oh my, no, that is not good. What the f*** is happening?
Prince Daemon Targaryen wishes to continue in a contest of arms.
But he lost. What's the point of jousting in the first place if you can lose and switch to a game you're better at? This is like losing at ping pong and then switching to something you know you can win, like Kerplunk. But, you know, with a lower mortality rate. Premature smithibration. Also cheap shots with maces. I'm not going to apologize for not understanding the rules that haven't been explained to us, but why not kill him? Daemon has a reputation for being a mighty brutal bastard, so Cole must know he'll come at him for revenge of some sort. Honestly, I'm amazed Cole even makes it out of this scene alive. Low talking to each other during a funeral. And your f***ing mom's and f***ing sister-in-law's funeral, no less. This dragon looks pretty miserable, but I can't tell if it's from the death of Aemma or if it's just depressed that it's only being brought out for funerals and special occasions like it's the good family china. I'm sure the dragon isn't purposely going to flame on any of the bystanders, but I feel like I'd still be standing further back than these front rows are. No reason to test fate or a dragon's whims.
Your Grace, this is the last thing any of us wish to discuss.
It is not.
These recent tragedies have left you without an obvious heir.
I'm finding plenty to like in this Game of Thrones spinoff, and it very well could stand out on its own in this franchise. However, the brother of the king is next in line, but no one else likes the brother except for the king, but brother does something dumb enough that the king's friends are able to sway the king's favor, and he makes an enemy of his own brother. Cliché is tired. As much as I enjoy watching both Paddy Considine and Matt Smith eat up scenery, I wish they had a conflict less generic to be involved in.
What are you saying? My brother would murder me. Take my crown.
Viserys Targaryen has survived 9 years on the Iron Throne being this f***ing naive.
I found myself thinking of your own mother today.
Skip?
How is his grace?
Very low. I thought you might go to him, offer him comfort.
Oh. Building a castle way too small to live in. What is this, a castle for incestuous ants?
I thought I might come and look in on you, Your Grace. I brought a book.
Bringing a book to cheer someone up.
The King Solaire once again.
Isn't it great how his wife and newborn son were nice enough to die and make this possible for you?
Laughing with your whores and your lickspittles!
And all this time I thought lickspittle was a subgroup under the wider umbrella of sex worker that just had a more specific speciality. Instead of wasting time with moonchart bullshit, maybe somebody close to the king could do something useful, like filing down the damn Iron Throne, or at least the parts that are near his exposed bits. This is a ridiculous amount of overcandling, especially for an area that is hardly f***ing used. The only way this isn't a massive and unnecessary inconvenience is if this dragon's head is actually a novelty lighter that can light them all at once. And if that's the case, here's a sin for not showing it in action. Even more candles!
The idea that we control the dragons is an illusion. If we don't mind our own histories, it will do the same to us.
Sorry, Viserys, I'm almost certain that Rhaenyra won't have heard any of that lovely speech over the deafening sound of foreshadowing.
I'm sorry, Rhaenyra. I have wasted the years since you were born, wanting for a son.
But since there's not a chance of that happening, I suppose you'll have to do. We cool? Corsets or dresses that do little more than cut off a woman's circulation.
Dragon's saddle is one thing, but the Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
He's not f***ing kidding. Warn her about the tetanus. Warn her about the tetanus!
And just as Daenerys foresaw the end of Valyria, Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. Just to begin with a terrible winter.
Are you saying winter is coming? Because it sounds like what you really want to say is that winter is coming.
Aegon saw absolute darkness riding on those winds, and whatever dwells within will destroy the world of the living.
Damn it, people! After the 55-minute mark, I was positive we were getting through this entire episode without a previously on Game of Thrones. But you just couldn't hold your load, could ya? Just had to wildfire it all over our collectively captivated maws when we least expected it.
This secret, it's been passed from king to heir since Aegon's time. Now you must promise to carry it.
This is a prophecy foretelling the end of the world and, crucially, how to potentially prevent it, and each king seems happy to rely on a spoken retelling and a promise to keep it alive. A promise? This would have turned into a game of telephone so quickly that I'm stunned Viserys isn't describing a one-eyed sky demon who can only be stopped when his favorite ring is cast into a big volcano. And 3, 2, 1. I knew it! I could feel it coming. By the old gods and the new, why does every pilot seem to feel obligated to end with jarring as fourth wall break? We get it. She's important.
Fiddle-dee-dee. That will require a tetanus shot.
Well, here you are, surrounded by attendants, all focused on the babe.
Babe with the power.
An astute observation has led to laughter. We are laughing. Commander on the floor.
Listen, you lot, you're all whizzing about. It's really very distracting. Could you all just stay still a minute, because I am talking!
Queen Emma has begun her labors.
Do you mind? I can't hear a word he's saying.
Do you mind me? I was talking to my husband.
Well, try and talk to him somewhere else. I can't hear a bloody thing.
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
At this time, a friend shall lose his friend's hammer, and the young shall not know where lieth the things possessed by their fathers that their fathers put there only just the night before.